Most of us experience a restless night occasionally, but for some, sleep is elusive. How important is sleep really, and what can we do to help improve it? Hi everyone, Sarah here, and today we're talking about sleep. How can it affect your weight, your mindset, and general health? We're chatting about what helps and hinders our own sleep. And I'm a bit scared to ask, but Lovoni, how are your sleep habits? Because I know what's coming with your answer.
How crappy they are.
Yeah.
They have been a bit better, I have to say, of late. Because there was like one night where it was terrible. But you know you're a bad sleeper when you remember your last really, really good sleep.
Yeah.
And
like it's a moment.
Yes. This is how long ago it was. It was last year when the first night that my sister and I spent in the UK, in England.
Really?
I slept all night. That's how bad,
Crikey, yeah.
But I think the more that I put on weight, the worse my sleep got, because I used to be a pretty good sleeper.
Oh, do you think your weight's affected?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And people that struggle with sleep, if they're overweight, that's why.
Oh, okay.
And then if you lose weight, that's one thing that
helps.
people say. It helps because, it can create sleep apnea when you're overweight or obese. And just, it's disruptive. And then, often people that are overweight, they get some swelling in their legs during the day, so they have to get up and pee during the night. So there's that. And just overall, being overweight does disrupt your sleep.
I didn't really know that.
Yeah, so the more weight you can lose if you are, obese or overweight, the more you'll find that your sleep improves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anybody that has lost weight would tell you that. Which isn't meaning to say that, people that are average weight have great sleeps.
Right.
But, yeah.
It helps improve it.
Yeah. And I think also when you're tired, when we were talking about this the other day, when you had a crap sleep, you feel you're vulnerable then. One, you don't feel like exercising.
No.
And then you just want to pretty much eat everything inside. Not good stuff. You want to eat
you crave.
crappy.
I mean, I personally crave carbs and sugar and volume. I just want to eat lots. It's not even necessarily what it is that I'm eating. I just want to keep on eating. It's just almost like my switch off just doesn't happen when I'm tired.
And that's something, I mean, there has been studies about that too, that they've found that people that are sleep deprived want carbohydrates, and they want it's like a hunger that can't be satisfied. Yeah. So it just lots of calories, lots of carbs. And do you know what else I thought this was interesting? That if you're dieting, right, and you're having a really bad, and your sleep is awful, that you can lose like lean muscle mass, not fat, if you're not getting a proper sleep. Yeah.
So your body takes muscle instead of fat?
Yeah, because it's the body is so amazing. If you're not sleeping, it goes into that kind of fight or flight type thing, and thinks, well, I'm going to need that. If I'm not sleeping, I'm going to need that fat, and so it just starts to use the muscle mass. So if you are dieting, that's just something to think about. But things that I mean, there's so much that you hear about it. People say, and don't you ever, when you hear people talk about what you should and shouldn't do, and I think, well, that is so obvious. Like don't.
What do you mean? Like
don't use your phone.
Oh, I see.
When you lie in bed and things like that. But I mean, those things, and don't have caffeine. Yeah. My father John was a classic one for this. He was an insomniac, but he'd always drink coffee overnight, and he used to say, "Oh, caffeine doesn't do anything to me,"
and then can't sleep.
And I think, but you can't sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, people that, if you've got something on your mind, that can.
You see, that's what's helped. Yeah. So I was trying to think through all the times, more recently that I have struggled with my sleep, and there's been probably three different reasons. When I had my son, so obviously 18 years ago now, but obviously having a new baby completely wrecks your sleep pattern and your life for sleep. So you're just hanging. It's a survival mode in that situation. That aside, after that, the two times I can really relate to not being able to sleep is one when I went through the menopause and I had awful sleep then. I would just be awake for hours on end and it would do your head in. But also when I've been really, really stressed. I had a massive project at work and it was playing on my mind, and I managed to nod off okay, but then you'd wake up really quite quickly and in an absolute panic, because of course it's running through your mind. And those are the times you're just lying there for hours on end, and I couldn't get off to sleep. But for me, actually watching something did help in that situation,
Right.
because it's for different reasons, isn't it? I wasn't sleeping because I had a chemical situation. My brain was so busy. That's why I couldn't sleep. But I found watching a program or something, I did then nod off, because I think my brain allowed itself to think about something else.
Different.
Yeah, I think there's different reasons, isn't there?
That's what I do with, I always just try to just go to sleep without anything. And then because I always know whether or not, I can just feel it.
Right.
And so I have like 3 levels or sometimes 4 that I listen to. Sometimes I listen to true crime. Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the right thing to nod off
know,
to.
right?
But
I don't do that when I'm home alone, but
yeah.
So sometimes I do that. Just listening, like you were saying, focusing on something else. But music helps me, and there's 3 levels of it. I start with Enya. Don't judge anybody, all right? Just don't. So
Welcome to 1999.
And then there's this wonderful singer called Avi Kaplan, who has this beautiful bass voice.
Tone. Yeah.
And so if Enya doesn't work, then I'll put Avi on.
Right.
And Avi doesn't know that he sleeps with me a lot.
I was going to say, does he do it for you?
Yeah. No, he does, because I focus on his voice. Because it's so amazing. And then if Avi doesn't do it, usually Avi can, but if Avi doesn't do it, then I bring out the big guns, I call it, and put Disturbed on, which is completely the opposite end of the spectrum to, like, Enya.
Isn't that really noisy?
It's heavy metal. Yeah.
Yeah.
But once again, David, the lead singer, has got this, even though it's heavy metal, he's, like a properly trained singer, and he's got this spectacular voice, and I concentrate on his voice.
Okay.
And that will get me to sleep. I discovered that one time when I was really stressed out in the middle of moving, and I put AC/DC on in the car because I needed to I don't know why. I needed to listen to something loud, and I felt really calm all of a sudden. I think it's just the contradiction. So that's the time that I will use a device. But I find, and I don't know if other people listening have experienced this, like I can fall asleep anywhere if I don't have to. So if I'm on a plane and it's broad daylight and I'm sitting up, I can fall asleep.
You'll nod off.
I'll nod off, and it'll be good too. I'm sure I'm snoring, but whatever. But on a plane of a night, if I'm like lying down, which sometimes I get to do, which is pretty special. Nope, don't sleep. Overnight on a plane, I don't sleep. Has nothing to do with fear. I think it's night time, and you have to sleep.
Pressure, almost pressure to have to sleep.
Like I'm sure there's lots of people that fall asleep on the couch.
Yeah.
And I can have the best sleeps on the couch of a night. Like one moment I'm watching something on television, and the next I'm like so sound asleep, nothing will wake me. And I get up and go to bed, and then suddenly I can't sleep.
Yeah.
And I think it's just that pressure. I don't know if anybody's ever tried this before, and I haven't done it in a while, but even just turning around in bed, like sleeping the other way round.
Oh, what, put your head at the other end?
Yeah, that used to make me go to sleep.
Oh. I suppose because you've broken the habit of where you
right.
always lie.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, I'd get up and go and sleep on another bed, and
Yeah.
that also would help. But there's certain things I know that hinder me. I don't know if you've noticed this. I think we've talked about the like lots of carbs. If I have
Yes. Yeah.
like a lot of bread, just a lot of carby things during the day, or sugar and just stuff like that, my sleep, I notice it in my sleep.
Affected, yeah.
It's affected. I get a bit of restless legs sometimes when I'm overtired, and that I find
That's
that
annoying,
a lot of
isn't
carbs. It's horrible. I find a lot of carbs exacerbate that.
Right.
But definitely, and if I eat too late, like if I go out to dinner, and if I, maybe I have dessert or something that I wouldn't normally, have, and booze, then I have like an absolute crap night's sleep.
Okay.
For
me, it's not eating so late. It's when I work too late. So if I work too late and then I try and go straight to bed, so like work till 11 o'clock at night or half 11 or what, because I've got something I need to get done, and then I try and go upstairs to bed, I find that really difficult. I just can't switch off because, of course, your brain is still buzzing through, and then I know that I've got to get up early the next morning to carry on, and it's almost like your brain sort of says, it's a bit like that thing when you're going on holiday or going to an important thing, an event, and it says you've got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You're so petrified of sleeping past your alarm that you wake up at 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock, 2:30, and you're like, oh, just let me go to sleep. It's because you don't want to sleep through that alarm. So it's really clever, isn't it, the way that your brain keeps engaged with that. However, it's not clever when you're trying to go to sleep because tomorrow morning you've got a big day. And excitement too can do it, can't it? If someone's got something exciting happening the next day, they can find it hard to sleep. But yeah, I mean, for me, so not so much the food, it's when I've been working too late and I can't switch off, and then it can be 1:30 in the morning and I'm still sitting there, and then I get to wind down.
Anxious too, and that also just makes it worse.
That is a tip, isn't it? To try not to worry about the fact that you're not asleep,
right? Because
that will double down on it. You really won't go to sleep.
At least you're in bed and you're rested.
Yeah,
but I mean, if people listen to a podcast, it can be a good thing to do. Like you were saying, if you're stressed about something, or you've got a lot of stuff happening, or you're going on, holidays or whatever, just, put that. I mean, that's so much better than, say, scrolling through Instagram or something.
Yeah.
To put that on and really concentrate on what the person's saying. It's almost, to me, when I do it, it's almost a form of meditation, because I really concentrate on what it is that I'm listening to. I have tried to meditate in bed when I'm trying to go to sleep, where you're supposed to like take really big deep breaths, and then imagine your feet are sinking into the bed, and then you go up your whole body and do that. And then I start doing that, and then it's like, oh, now have I done this? And have I done that type of thing. So listening to something really helps. I watched a quick little clip a couple of years ago, and it was about when you get into bed, you should do 2 quick like breaths in, and then breathe it out, and you do that 3 times, and it resets something. I don't know how true it is, but I do it, and it does help when I remember to do it. That's the thing. But it resets something in the frontal lobe of your brain, apparently. So that's.
I also I was reading about sleep. I mean, the actual process of sleep itself and all the things that it does. And we'll probably talk about that in a minute. But one of the things it said was that your body temperature drops when you go to sleep, which I thought was surprising, because I always get really hot when I'm asleep. But effectively, your internal body temperature drops. So they were recommending that when you get up in the morning, one of the really good things you can do is do a little bit of exercise, push-ups or some exercise in general, because it then basically boosts your system again to say, right, now I want you to get warmer, get going and waken everything up. So they were saying one of the best things to do is obviously not going to help you go to sleep, but once you have been asleep, to then really energize you for your day would be to get up and do something straight away from an exercise point of view, which would make sense, I suppose.
So your metabolism drops too when you sleep. Low by like 15%.
Oh, okay.
I think because, because your metabolism is things like breathing and all of that, the functions. But I think, because you're not doing a whole lot of stuff.
It doesn't need to do it,
It doesn't need to do it. But it's lowest in the morning, which made me think, that adage where, because people come up with stuff and then suddenly it's
a thing.
It's a thing, even though nobody's bothered to really look into it. But that whole eat breakfast like a king.
Yeah.
I can never remember the lunch part.
Lunch like a prince and dine like a pauper.
Pauper and dinner like a pauper, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really, if that's the case, if your metabolism is lowest first thing in the morning, and obviously when you get up and start moving about, it will increase, which is why doing some exercise, like you were just saying, is a good thing. But then why would you want to have a big breakfast?
Oh, yeah. I suppose, but that way what they're trying to do is encourage you not having a big dinner. I think that's probably the point, isn't it? Because then if you've had a large load of food before you go to sleep, you don't sleep well and it just sits in your stomach all night. So it's one of those.
But then if I have a big breakfast, then I'm like sleepy too.
Oh, yeah. It does see me through the day quite well. If I have a big breakfast, I don't want to eat as much for sort of the rest of the day.
But you also don't eat early either.
No, I don't. No.
Yeah. So, that's just something to think about because, there's so much now about fasting.
Yeah.
That, if you can do that and wait a while.
Yeah.
That's maybe a good
thing. I have
thing.
my breakfast about 10 o'clock.
Yeah, see, that's probably, that's good because by then,
I've been
you've
up
revved this,
3 hours
got the engine warmed up. Yeah. I think that's, just something to think about when you're reading all of this. Did I say about how the poor sleep is associated with your blood sugar intolerance? So it's like a precursor to diabetes, apparently, and insulin resistance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you haven't had enough sleep, it can affect
sleep deprivation.
Right.
I think, like we were saying too, just how it leaves you vulnerable for wanting to eat as well. So, but sunlight, that's a good thing. Because that helps the serotonin levels.
What, for helping you get a good sleep?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to get out in the sunshine for like 10 to 15 minutes a day. Which, isn't always easy to do when you live in a cold climate.
No, but even just daylight. It doesn't have to be
daylight,
strong sun, does it?
But sun is good. And I need to check to see whether my sleeps are better in, summer. I don't know.
Do you wear your watch to monitor your sleep or anything like that?
No, I haven't yet. I
don't wear mine because I don't like it.
Oh, you don't like having it on?
No.
See, I don't mind wearing jewellery to bed, but I should try.
Oh no, I would wear jewelry. I can wear my earrings and things, but
you wear earrings to bed?
Yeah.
Don't they stick into the side of your head?
Depends. Sometimes they do, and I have to take them out. But most of the time, they're okay.
Huh. I can wear bangles and rings and watches and necklaces, but not earrings.
I don't know if mine's psychological, but I think because that thing's like ticking away on my arm, like reading me all the time, I feel like it's affecting my... It's obviously not, but in my head I feel like it's affecting my sleep, so I don't wear mine at night. I probably should for a few times and just see if I can monitor it and see what's happening. But
yeah, no, me too, but then I'm like, God, am I scared to do that?
Or to actually be confirmed.
Yes.
You know how much you haven't slept.
I'm such a crap sleeper. And I think after I had COVID last year, what I noticed too was that I got a bit of sleep apnea, which a lot of people that are overweight do suffer from that, where you just stop breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'm like, this is super sexy of a night to go to bed like this, but one of those nasal strips... But they have to be this isn't a push for Breathe Right, but they can't be the cheap, the no frills stuff. Okay. They have to be Breathe Right, and I use the extra strength, and I still am using them, and that makes a big difference.
Well, sorry, I'm not laughing. I am laughing. You stick them over your nose.
You put them across your nose here, and they open the airway and make it easy to breathe, because I'm a mouth breather anyway. But yes, it makes a big difference.
You're adding to the glamour.
The first time I wore them, my husband said, well, I feel like I'm going to bed with a linebacker. Because a lot of the footballers here wear the wear them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But they help. And when I put it on last night, because I've been, out gardening and swimming and everything, so I've got a bit of a tan. And I said, look, you don't even notice it
They
anymore.
blended in.
It's just blended in. But that helps me.
Okay.
I mean, to start with, it's very annoying. And sometimes I think I must pull it off in the middle of the night because I've woken up with one in my hair, stuck to my forehead. One was stuck to Ramsey one day, and they can be stuck on me. But that helps if anybody has, having
It's like when I have to wear my mouth guard. So I had a really sore problem with my jaw a couple of years back, and I have to wear a mouth guard on my top teeth.
Oh, every night when you go to bed?
Well, I'm supposed to. I don't. But when I have particular pain in my jaw, I always make sure that I put it on. But that feels weird to sleep in as well, because you've got to get used to having something, in your mouth that's different. I mean, it does work, to be fair, because it just creates that gap in between the two teeth. But that's not very glamorous either, to be honest.
No. Well, it's better than people that suffer from sleep apnea that have to wear one of those one of those mask things to keep them breathing. To
be honest with you, it's in a completely selfish comment here, but that would do my head in, sleeping next to someone with that on.
Right. Because I think that makes a noise. Too. Yeah.
I know that's a bit selfish, but anyway.
Well, no, but it would. Because
Stop doing that. Whatever you're doing, I'm going to tell you off now.
Stop. Yeah. What?
No, what are you shoving about?
Me?
Yeah, that's really noisy.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, just to say that I'm not the only one saying that with my...
Oh.
All the people listening were like, what is that noise?
Oh, God, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's probably right over the speaker on my computer, that's why.
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
I just thought I'd mention that, because everyone's going to be thinking, what on earth is that noise?
Thanks. I've been doing that a bit. Sorry, people.
I know. That's why
now
she
tells me. See, this is the first day, just so everybody knows, that I'm normally I do this on my phone, but I'm on my computer today.
Yeah, so we're just working out all
yeah.
bits. Anyway, stop doing that.
Well, because where are the speakers on here? They have to be up on the keyboard, are they? Up near the keyboard? Oh, yeah, there they are. On the side. Let me just move that off.
Okay.
There you go. I'll just rustle it a bit more as I do. Yeah. Yes. Well, I have to have notes, so I just know.
Of course.
Yes.
Well, we do research, and I know it may not sound like it for some people, but we do.
So, okay, things that help me sleep better.
Yes.
Okay. Not eating at 2 to 3 hours before bed.
Okay.
That does help. It's okay to go to bed with with your tummy rumbling.
A bit of a hungry time.
But that's unless you obviously.
I don't want to be starving. If I'm really hungry, I couldn't settle then. It's a fine balance, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know that. This is what helps for me.
Helps for you anyway.
If I've exercised during the day, that makes a huge difference. When I'd exercise in the morning, then work during the day, which, I'm on my feet a lot when I'm cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was out in the evenings gardening. Honestly, I was asleep, I think, before I could...
Out for the count.
For the count, yes. And I find when I do photo shoots too, when I'm on location doing photo shoots, I just get into bed and I'm done. I'm toast. Mm-hmm. Nutrition. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
So people that are having issues with sleep is one, less food, right? And these are people that, I'm not telling somebody that, when I say less food, if you're overweight.
Yeah, if you're overeating. Yeah,
if you're overeating, smaller portions. But nutrient-dense diet, and there's actual proof, like scientific proof, that a Mediterranean diet isn't just good for, your heart, your brain, losing weight, but also apparently helps you sleep.
So what do you mean? What do you mean by Mediterranean diet then?
So that's things like, lots of veggies, fruit, legumes, fish, seafood.
Okay.
Nuts, seeds, things like that. Now getting up early, which is not, this is people that don't work shift work.
Yeah.
Or, aren't a chef that crawl into bed at 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever. This is somebody that might sit, because sitting is another thing too. If you sit all day and
your
don't
body's
move
not active
about,
and worn out, is it?
No, you need to burn off some of that energy. And having a scheduled time for waking up and going to bed, like even if I have a late night and my alarm goes off and I'm like, oh, I just want to sleep. Because, it's easy to do that when you work from home, work for yourself. You can just go, oh, yeah, turn the alarm off, I'll go back to sleep. But, it needs to be a routine.
Don't you find the most annoying thing, though, is when you have struggled to go to sleep, or you've woken up at like 4 or 5 o'clock and you've laid there for a good hour and a half or something, and then just at the point before your alarm's going to go off, that's when you go into a great sleep.
Yeah, I know.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, but, even if you haven't had a great sleep, you still should get up. Because, you definitely will sleep the next night, hopefully. Not eating a lot of sugar, just like try and, cut that out. And I think things like having like a hot bath or a shower, and that's an obvious thing. Keeping the room cool. Yeah. And then, this might sound a bit sort of trite, but I find just having nice sheets on the bed too.
Yeah, an enjoyable space.
Just an enjoyable space, and, some people sleep with nothing on. I don't know. I just don't. I don't. But I have to have a nice, comfy night dress. It has to be stretchy. Yeah. And I have looked and looked, and I finally found one. Oh, my God, and it's so soft. Because I can't stand anything on my leg. Like, I don't like wearing pajamas. Because I don't like my legs even in winter. I can do shorts, but not pajamas. And then most of the nighties would get completely wound around me. Yeah. And then I always, if I have to get up in the middle of the night, I've always got like a boob hanging out or something. But maybe that's why my sleep has been better the last few nights.
Because your boobs are in.
No, yeah, because they're contained. Because I've got new sleepwear.
Do you sleep in a bra? Because I know that some people sleep in one. I don't. Like a special sleep bra, but some people sleep in a sleep-specific bra.
No, God, I love setting the girls loose.
Getting that off. Yeah.
God, no. I know. I have a relative that used to do that. I'd like to name her, but because she's got like really big. If she ever listens to this, she'll know who I mean. But she has really big boobs, right? And I think she thought by sleeping in a bra it would help them stay up there. Yeah. So, but anyway, what about you? Do you have like any little secret things?
Yeah, I do. So I always,
listen to heavy metal music or something. Murderous true crime.
Never thought about that. No matter what time I go upstairs to bed, even if I've been on a really late night, I always have a shower before I get into bed.
Oh gosh, yes.
Cannot.
Imperative.
People don't need to know this, but I shower twice a day because I like to start my day feeling fresh
and awake.
Just feeling ready for my day. And if I don't, my day never goes as well. If you get up and think, oh, I'll skip it because I had one last night. Whatever.
It's not the
never
same.
Does.
No,
never does.
I 100%
always have
agree.
A shower in the morning, but I always have one before I go to bed because I just love to feel cozy, clean, and fresh as I get in. So that's my first part of my routine. I always do my skincare always after my shower, so always that as well. I do have my window open. I have recently found in these, now we're sort of pretty much heading towards the centre of sort of summer months coming up, that it's really noisy at 5 o'clock in the morning because the birds are going for it. Right. Because I had my double windows right open and I sleep underneath them.
You don't have screens, do you? I noticed a lot of places in England don't have screens. Like, are you ever worried about...
No, because I don't listen to podcasts.
Oh, no, not a person. No, like a critter.
No. What, like what? Like an owl or something?
A squirrel or something?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay. It won't happen. You watch. If I get one tonight, I'll absolutely...
A bat? You have bats over there, don't you?
I do have bats in my garden, yeah, I do. It's not going to come in my bedroom.
Oh, an open window?
I have
oh my God.
Slatted blinds down over my window, so that would stop them.
Oh, no, they can crawl through those.
It's fine.
Okay, next podcast.
So I have my window, but now I have
a bat in a room.
I'll be like, next week. I'm like, oh, you'll never guess what. I have my window open, but just a crack for some fresh air.
Yeah.
And I often put a bit of sort of white noise on my phone. So whether that's like a tune or just literal white
noise.
No, not whale noise. That's annoying. You're like, just white noise. If you Google it, you can get all different sorts now: green noise, brown noise, white noise.
I heard that green. What's okay?
Yeah.
So do you know
the green noise is the green noise is more
forest?
like rain. Yeah, rain, leaves,
nice.
that sort of sound.
That sounds good.
I think sometimes I listen to thunder. I really love going to sleep listening to thunder.
And thunder.
Yeah. So those types of noises, because actually I tend to drift off really quite quickly because it's a sound. Because if it is someone talking, for me, or music, I concentrate way too much on what they're saying and I can't quite switch off enough. So a bit like I can't work with music on like that either. So I just have that type of white noise on in the background. Are you okay?
I've got a piece of ice in my mouth. Sorry.
This episode's going very professionally well.
I'm trying. There we go. It's gone.
Try not to chew it.
Yeah.
Yes. So those are things I do: shower, skincare, window open. Like you, I like to have nice bedding.
Yes.
I enjoy my bedroom looking nice, and the white noise or brown noise or green noise, whatever. That's my 3-4 things that I always do without fail.
Right. Well, and I don't know. You got to do what you can, right? A comfy bed.
Oh yeah, a while back we couldn't work out what it was that was causing such bad backs and everything, and I bought a new mattress not that long ago, but it turns out it was too hard. You know when you think a firm mattress is really good, but it was just so I had to buy a topper, and that's made a world of difference actually.
I found the beds in England are really hard.
Yeah.
Oh,
they are really hard.
Yeah. What is
we were both getting up going, oh my back, what's going on, until we put that on, and it did I mean obviously with my hips and things it helps as well because the pressure's not great if it's too hard on them, but
I should try that on my mattress.
A topper?
Yeah, because when we got a new mattress last year and I don't like it because I used to have one of those cloud ones, like the Euro with the big pillow top.
Yeah.
But after a while, and you can't, you just have to rotate them. You can't flip them.
Yeah.
But after a while,
dips in it.
Yeah.
And
so we thought we'll try something different, but I don't find it's quite soft enough.
But the one that we've got is almost like a memory foam topper, so that gives you that squishiness, but you've still got the support of the bed underneath.
Yes, I need to. I'm going to have a look for
There's
one of
your
those.
answer.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that makes a difference having a comfy bed. Although having said that, like I said, I can sleep anywhere. But of a night time going to bed.
Yes. Yeah.
So switching off your brain, I think, is probably one of the hardest things to do when you sleep. How you run
reading
through
a book,
stuff.
don't you think reading a book helps you switch off? If you read a book, I normally nod off really quickly because your eyes get really heavy when you're reading.
But then you turn the lights off and shut everything down, and then it suddenly
clicks in.
Yeah. But so my husband gets into bed and is asleep in an absolute nanosecond.
Yeah.
He will spend ages looking for the perfect podcast, and I say to him, why? Because you'll be asleep in like less than a second. And I asked him how he did it. And his great piece of advice was not to think about anything. I'm like, well, how do you not think about anything? And he said for those times that he can't, he plays this same scene. It's a basketball, because he used to play basketball. It's a basketball scene over and over again. And something there's two things that I've also do sometimes is one, I imagine, and I don't know why this is going to sound weird, but my aunt used to have a strawberry farm, and Mum and I were out picking strawberries on it one day and got notified that my dad had a plane crash because he's a pilot.
Oh my gosh.
And he survived, but I play that in my head, and on that same day I discovered a rat in a barn that was like mid-stride and it had died. And I go through, I don't know why, but
You're so full of cheer.
but I go through that in my mind,
Do
and
you?
that helps me. Yeah,
Okay.
that one, and then picturing another one that I do too, and this one works really well. Is picturing myself, um, how I want to be, like, how I
Uh-huh.
look, what I'm,
Healthy. Yeah.
healthy, and all the rest of it, and the outfits that I have on,
Hmm.
and that will help me sleep too.
Well, that's a good thing because that's visualizing
That's
your
positive,
future. So that's a
yeah.
great thing to
Yeah,
do.
I
Yeah.
try. I usually try and do that like very early on in the piece before I hit up Enya, Avi, or Disturbed
I tell you the
or
other thing I
Case
do.
File.
I feel like I have to get organised before I go to bed as well. So I
Oh
check.
yes,
I check that the heating's off. I check my alarm is set. I do my last check of email or something like that, which is probably not a great thing because on occasions you then read a work email and go, "Oh no, I've got to do this, that." But anyway, that's the sort of process. Check my bankings in order if anything needs to be done for tomorrow. All of that sort of thing. So I like to check all of my apps and all that sort of thing before I go to bed, so I know that I don't have to worry about that during the night. It's
right.
all sorted out.
I like
Little bit
a
OCD
to-do
maybe.
list. Is I like to make sure
Yeah.
that's done. Um, and sometimes if I go to bed and I'm running through, oh, I've got to do that, I've got to do that, especially if you're going away or you're starting a big project or whatever. Then I'll get up and I'll write it down. I'll spend
Hmm.
10 minutes, getting back up out of bed, writing it down, and then that helps as
Yeah.
well. But for some people that like this is like a catch-22 situation because I think lack of sleep can make you feel
Yeah.
depressed,
Yeah.
right? But also, if you're depressed, you can not
Not
sleep.
want to sleep well. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's just, which is the time that you probably need it,
It's the
of course.
chemicals, though, I guess,
It's
isn't
the
it? The chemical
serotonin, the
balance.
dopamine.
Uh-huh.
Um, but like you were saying about menopause,
Yeah.
that definitely affects your
Oh,
sleep.
so bad.
That's
Yeah.
horrible. And
Absolute
then,
nightmare.
with that also can come depression.
Hmm.
And, I know that a lot of women struggle with
Yeah.
menopause. And I think for me, the biggest thing was my sleep with
Hmm.
menopause. The hot flushes, we moved to Florida around the time that my
Right.
menopause was starting. And so I went through it all in Florida. And it's constantly hot in
Yeah.
Florida, like unbelievably so, and humid. And so I never really noticed a hot flush because I was just
Yeah.
hot all the time there.
Well,
So,
in a way, it's sort of irrelevant as well, the temperature of the room, isn't it? Because it's that internal feeling you get rather than
like
it
that you're going to
being external.
self-combust.
Yeah, you just think, "Oh, I
Yeah,
need air, I need air." For me, it's more like I need air, so I need to just open a window, not because of the temperature, it's just getting the air in. That's the sort of
right.
sensation that I get. But yeah, I mean, it's an absolute sleep thief, isn't it? The menopause, you just,
Oh, yeah.
and then then all of the implications. So your actual health. I mean, this is the thing we need to remember. Sleep has a purpose. It's not just to make us feel rested. It actually, your body desperately needs it, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, for
What it
healing.
actually does,
Yeah, and
your
the brain.
cardiovascular, your immune system, your brain, it
Yes.
regulates your metabolism. Potentially, some people sort of say yes or no on that, but it doesn't speed it up, but it regulates everything because everything is regulated after you've had a good sleep. And if you're not getting the sleep, all of these issues that you've got are then compounded the next day and then the next day and the next. And so
Right.
that's what you need to try, and the reason you're trying to grasp this good sleep is to then help the rest of it. So with weight loss, I mean, I think we've obviously then described with if you don't have the sleep, how you feel towards food. But if you do, it's the control you get, the feeling of control you get when you have had a good sleep, don't you? That's what helps with your weight loss as well, because you
Right.
do feel more in control, ready to make sensible decisions, ready to then not choose the food that your body thinks it's craving. It's all that sort of thing. I think that's the difference, isn't it? It's not thinking about what you don't get, it's what you do get if you do get the sleep.
Well, you're also, I think, better in control of your emotions too, and
Yeah, everything.
definitely your motor skills. Because
Hmm.
I mean, that's an obvious thing that lack of sleep. If you're driving, operating a machine,
Yeah.
people know all of these things. I guess if they're not
Yeah.
getting a good sleep,
But your memory too, don't you think? If you
oh,
haven't
the
slept well,
brain
your memory's
fog.
just gone. Yeah.
Brain fog. Yes. So definitely, I think nutrition is nutrition and exercise are top of the list.
Yeah.
And for people that are listening to this that are needing to lose weight, that you've got to get that off. That will help.
Yeah.
It will definitely help sleep. Routine, but moving.
Mm-hmm.
The more you can.
Talking about the routine with going to sleep, my grandpa always had this phrase, and it's stuck with me, and anyone that knows me will know because I always trot it out. But he said that an hour of sleep before midnight is worth 2 after. So the time you go to bed, going to bed really late, even if you do get your 8 hours, it's not as good a sleep as if you actually manage to get to bed at a decent time. And in my experience, it is true.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can get to sleep by 10:30, say, you feel much better than if you went to bed at 2 but still got the same amount of hours.
Yes.
Do you agree with that or not?
No, I definitely agree, but I'm just thinking, sometimes Sarah will text me and I look at the time because I'm 5 hours behind.
Exactly.
And I think, for the love of God, woman, go to bed. It's like
this is the point. In
midnight.
theory, it's
yes,
all great.
Yeah.
But do you know what? My days just don't finish that early.
No.
So
when
my
you
son
work
gets
for yourself,
in.
that's what happens.
Yeah, I'm either working. My son gets in from training 2, if not 3 times a week or whatever, and he doesn't get back till sometimes 9:45 at night. So then by the time his meal's done, he's wound down, we go up, it's 11 o'clock, of course. So my days, unfortunately, don't really manage to finish early enough for me to then get up and get in. Then I always have my shower, and then I do, so then you're like, wow, it's 11:30 midnight. I've blown my hour before midnight theory. It's just not going to happen. But if you can, and if people can do that, it is worth remembering that sometimes it's not the number of hours of sleep that you get, it's the quality of the sleep that you're getting as well, isn't it? That's what makes a difference.
It is good if people can get 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hear people say, that they can survive on 4.
I could for 1 or 2 nights, but then you'd be done after that.
But I find, because I'm not a great sleeper, if I have a good night's sleep, the next day I feel like I can take on the world.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, this is how people feel when they sleep.
Well, how many do you reckon you get then? Because obviously you get broken sleep, or how many hours?
Oh, like of sleeping all through the night, you mean?
Yeah. If you added it all together, what do you think? How many hours do you get?
Well, I try and go to bed. Normally we try and go to bed because Lawrence's alarm goes off so early. It's at 20 to 5. So I like to be in bed by 9:30. But
right.
Most nights that doesn't happen. So if you said 9:30 to say 4:30, or even say 5:30, how many is that? That's 8, is it? 9:30 to 5:30? 3, that's 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ideally to be in bed by 9:30. And, daylight saving, that can be a bit hard because it's bright out, but we've got dark curtains.
Do you think that's part of the problem from trying to go to bed quite so early? Do you think it's hard for your body to switch off and
no,
go to sleep
because most of the time it's winter here and it's dark. So
yeah, it's easier in the winter, isn't it?
But I find if I go to bed more around sort of 10, I do sleep. I think I sleep better if I go.
I think so. I think if you try and go too early, sometimes it forces it, doesn't it?
Right, yeah. But then because his alarm does go off so early, if I don't sleep through it, then that's really not enough that I feel like it's not enough sleep that I'm getting. I find when he has to go away, I sleep better because I don't know, it's that subconscious thing too.
Not having to wake up so early.
Have you tried like yoga, meditating? Because I know people have said that makes a difference.
I don't know whether it is true meditating or not, but I've quite good at just learning how to switch off, so I think about nothing.
Are you?
Yeah.
You do too? Is that like an Aries thing?
I had to really work at it and learn how to do it, but once I did learn how to do it, I'm like, this is really good. This is just how people just wander around.
I can switch off in the middle of the day if there's like screaming kids or stuff happening. See, you're very susceptible to noise. You can't do that. But when I get into bed, no. When there's no other distractions, I don't know.
Just as soon as it comes into my head, I just
go,
nope, and push it back out again. I know.
Just being able to switch off your brain like it's a superpower for someone that's not a good sleeper.
Yeah.
Like, so you get into bed, do you fall asleep normally? Like, on an average night, do you
Yeah,
just sleep all through the
average
night?
night. Not all three, because I have to get up to go to the toilet, or I wake up in pain and then I have to turn over and move
Uh,
because I'm in pain. But now, generally, I can then go straight back off to sleep again. Where there was a time I'd be lying there in quite a bit of pain for quite some time. But yeah, I do wake up numerous times a night because of my non-operated hip.
right.
But obviously at some point that will not be the case. But it's unusual for me to lie there for hours on end awake. I can normally go straight back off again.
Right. God,
How
that's
long do you
good.
stay awake for when you're lying there?
If I wake up at about 3:30, often I can then just be awake for the
Oh
rest of the...
no.
Yeah. But that, if I wake up at 3:30, and I'm not so bad at doing this, but when my parents were alive, I'd always check my phone when I got up to go to the toilet, just in case there was a
That's the other
message from
thing
my
I've got
sister.
better at. I don't check my phone
Don't
ever.
do that,
No.
because if that's what I found, if I look at my phone, it's all right just to see the time, because I don't keep
I don't even do that now. I
You
just
don't,
think
hey?
no. There was, and I did have a clock next to my bed, and that's just unplugged at the moment. But
Right.
so my alarm is my phone, but I don't even look at the time now. I just
That's
do
a
not
good
touch
idea.
it.
Well, because you still, if you do touch your phone, you still got that bright light. And
And
then if
actually,
there
I
is
just
a
think it's
message,
irrelevant, isn't it? Yeah, then you
right?
read it.
Yeah, especially seeing if it's just close to your alarm going off, then that's just
Yeah.
depressing. But I think that definitely helps when you don't do that. So I'm not as bad at doing it, but I notice when I do it that, and if I actually pick my phone up, if I've got a message from my sister and read it, then I don't stay.
That's
I
it.
can stay awake. I went for a while there where I turned my phone off completely. I know people that do that. They just
Yeah, I
don't have their
can't do
phone on at
that.
all. No, you can't.
No, I just feel I need to be available in
In case
constant
something
contact.
happens.
Yeah,
Like in case
that's
you've
my
got to...
anxiety sort
Well,
of thing.
yeah, but in case, I guess you've got to, dial emergency or something, like the
Not even that.
emergency
Yeah, I just
number.
think, what if someone needed to get hold of me urgently? It's like my family, or if my son's not
You'd
home,
be
or
like
whatever.
lying there in just blissful sleep with not thinking about anything.
No, never. I'm never off duty ever.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't. It would give
Okay.
me more anxiety to have it turned off than it would be from the benefit
Okay.
of having it turned off. If you see what I
Right,
mean. So,
right.
yeah,
I probably wouldn't do it, if Florence was on the road or something.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I have done that, and it did make a difference, because to look at it or think, oh, I need to add something to the shopping list,
yeah.
or I'm going to send myself a note so I remember that. Then now you've picked it up and looked at it.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of kids, that is probably a big
Yeah, absolutely.
disturbance for them in their sleep.
Mhm.
Have you ever taken melatonin?
No.
Okay. That's helped for me. I don't want to... We're not medical advisors,
No.
but that has helped me in the past. You have, great dreams. I have really great dreams anyway.
You do.
Yeah.
You're like the dream queen. You tell me so. I'm like, how did you manage to have that dream? I'm not a big dreamer at all.
I have a lot of dreams
Or I'm
about
sure I am,
animals.
but I just don't remember them.
Horses. When Mum died, I would dream of, lions. There'd be lions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was weird because I hadn't been watching anything,
No.
but consecutively for about 3 or 4 nights, I'd dream of lions, and eventually I looked it up, and it's bravery. It was almost like, Mum telling me to be brave.
Push on, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, horses. I had a dream about a snake the other night. That's something to do with sex, apparently. I don't know. Or
Understandable.
lack thereof, I don't know.
The snake analogy.
Anyway.
But don't you find the ones that are the funniest when you've dreamt about someone or a partner doing something wrong in your dream, and you
and
wake
then you
up in a
hate them.
massive mood?
You hate them.
I love
Or you
that.
haven't-
I'm like, I hate what you did.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Or
And you're pissy with them for days.
have you ever had a dream where suddenly everybody's like, okay, that's it, I'm not listening to this anymore because we're talking about dreams.
Yeah.
Where you've had your hair done and it's awful, and you wake up and then you're like, oh, thank God it was only a dream.
It was all okay.
It's all okay. Or that something I used to have a dream where I'd put the dogs in the car when Mango and Finn were alive, and I couldn't find the car, Oh, that
Oh
was horrible.
no,
Yeah.
panic.
Or there was
Yeah.
like a big party or lots of people going on and someone let the dogs out and I couldn't find them. That was awful. Now when I dream of, them, it's nice because they just come
Yeah.
to me in my dream.
The only ones I find fascinating as well are the recurring ones. Do you have recurring
Oh,
dreams where you go
yeah.
straight back into where you left off on like months
Right.
ago or
That's
something?
weird,
Like, how
isn't
on
it?
earth can that happen? But I mean, the brain is just fascinating, really.
Oh
That's
my
all
God,
it is
it's
the brain
so
processing all
fascinating.
its memories,
But
isn't
it
it?
does need sleep.
It does need sleep because,
Yeah.
and to be fair, you never look like you've not had sleep. You always look very good on it.
Oh, thanks.
You managed to
I think because
style it out well.
I think because I don't get dark circles under my eyes.
No, you're lucky.
I know I'm lucky like that. But I have fallen asleep at my computer and woken myself up with my head hit
Oh, I've done that.
You've done that too?
Yeah. Or when you used to be in meetings, like big meeting rooms, and they were warm, and then you'd be like, I can't, I'm really trying to keep my eyes open, and then you feel like, and then you do that little jolt with your head and think, did I snore?
I've fallen
They're the
asleep
worst.
having a conversation with my husband. I've just like fallen asleep mid-conversation. Yeah, mid-sentence. Or while I was changing the channels on the television, just fallen asleep with the thing in my hand. Mum was talking to me one day, and this is because I'm not in bed. Like I said, I can fall asleep anywhere else. Mum was talking to me one day, and I was in bed, actually at the time, but, chatting away, and next thing I got woken up by all this whistling. Like I'd gone to sleep. She could hear me breathing.
She's trying to get you,
She was trying to wake me up. And she goes, God, I know I'm boring, but I didn't think I was that boring.
Feedback for you.
Oh, gosh. Anyway, well, I hope that somebody's gained something from this. There are probably people going, oh, yeah, I definitely relate to,
and I think it's just trying to find the routine that works for you, some tips that we've sort of said about the way that we get prepared for bed and, all the things that just help you feel comfortable and cozy. I guess it's trying to remember how you would treat a child, isn't it? If you were tucking them in and getting them ready for bed, you do all of those things for a reason. So it's like the bath time routine, the reading a book, the cozy, like a nice warm drink to go to bed. Treat yourself in the same way and see if that helps to get you settled for the night, rather than just assuming.
Stress about it.
No,
because I've had times where I would like I hated the thought of going to bed because I thought I'm not going to sleep, which is awful to do because already you're setting the scene.
Yeah.
But at the moment it's quite good, and I appreciate.
Tell you what else
that.
helps? A little bit of mood lighting sometimes. Little lamp, like a lava, not a lava lamp, like a, I don't know, those sort of change lights,
right?
Mood lights. They really help because sometimes the sheer blackness of the room can be a bit stressful. Thinking now I'm supposed to be going to sleep. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes if you set a really dark light, like a nice blue or something, it's quite calming. So that's something to try as well, rather than the pressure of having a pitch black room and thinking I'm supposed to be going to sleep. Just having that some ambient light in the background sometimes helps as well.
It's funny you saying that because sometimes places that I stay, I will let the light in my room and I find that I go to sleep a bit better because of that, because it takes the pressure
But
off.
I know you don't like light in your room. I remember when we were away
don't.
and you had to cover up the little little panel on the heater.
Oh, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I stay in a hotel and they have those nasty digital clocks that are so bright, I have to turn them over or unplug them. But I'm like Goldilocks when I go to bed. Has to be just right. I'll get up and if there's wrinkles in the sheets, I'll get up and have to fix the sheets. There's that story of the princess and the pea. Have you ever heard that?
Yes.
That's me. I can feel that pea onto 16 mattresses.
Do you know, I'm sort of the opposite. I have such an ample bottom that multiple times, and even recently, I've lost something, like proper lost it, and I'm looking around going, where on earth? And I stand up and I've been sat on it for a good 2 hours and I had no idea because my bum's so squishy. It's just absorbed the pressure. I did it the other night. I couldn't find my lip balm when I went to bed. I was like, where the hell has that gone? I definitely, I have a bag where I do all my skincare and stuff. Anyway, couldn't find it. I was in a bit of a grump about it. Thought whatever. Laid down, and as I laid down, my rib was digging right into the lip balm. I've been sat on the blooming thing.
Goodness.
So there you go.
It's just a teeny tiny one. That's why you can
I am the opposite of the princess and the pig. I just literally
I'm such a fuss spot. Everything has to be just perfect.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure it drives everybody around me absolutely insane.
I'm sure it doesn't.
Hey, what's cooking in Sarah's kitchen this week?
Well, I've been having lots of fish and salad. I've been really enjoying those for my lunches. And whether that was tuna or salmon, so that was really, really good.
It helps you
I tried,
sleep.
yeah, the fish does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried a recipe where it swapped out the pasta and put in beans instead, broad beans, or I actually use bologna beans. Is that how you say it? Bologna, yeah, because I had those in my pantry cupboard. But instead of having the pasta, I had that with it, and that was delicious. So it had whole cloves of garlic in it, courgette, pesto, and instead of the pasta, it had beans. Delicious. Really,
was
really
that a
nice.
BBC food one?
Good question. It might have been a Zoe one. You know the Zoe. Do you follow them on Instagram?
Oh,
so yeah.
Find a pen and write that down.
Zoe, just as you would expect it to be spelt, Zoe. Yeah, I think it might have been that. So they just, instead of having pasta, swapped the beans in. That was really, really delicious.
Yeah, that's good.
And then for this week coming, I've been thinking, because I need to go and do a food shop, I would like to have something prawns. I've not had prawns for ages, so I'm going to do a prawn dish this week.
I'm doing prawn lo mein this week.
What is that?
It's just, noodles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with red pepper, green onion. What else am I putting in it? Can't remember. Probably some mushrooms, because I've got so many dried mushrooms. But yeah, and then just a sort of dark soy. Yeah, I'm doing that. That sounds good. Nice. Anything else? What have you been having for breakfast?
I've been having oats with Greek yogurt and fruit and nuts.
And didn't the internet like that one?
And didn't they?
That's so funny.
Yeah, the reel that we shared on it just went crazy.
Sarah.
Try again.
Oh, come on, you know what I mean. She shared a reel. Sarah shared a reel of her making her breakfast, and lots and lots of people liked it. Yeah, everybody watched it. That's amazing.
So I've been having that for most of my mornings actually, and so that for my breakfast. I've been having my salmon or tuna salad with some grains for my lunch, and then making different meals in the evening. But that one was particularly delicious, with the beans and the garlic.
I've been making chive and parmesan omelettes.
Ooh.
Just because our chives are so easy to grow. If anybody wants to grow herbs, because if you buy them in the store, they're so daggy. So I've been using lots.
I've not heard that phrase since I watched Home and Away. Daggy. Love it. Oh dear. Anyway.
Yeah, so I've been using those up. And then for lunch, I've been doing the same thing. I've been having salmon. Mm-hmm. I did have some tuna, but usually I have salmon. And I like to have it on whole grain sourdough bread with veggies, tomato, onion, etc. That's just been so yummy. That's what I've been eating this week. That, and I know you hate cottage cheese, but cottage cheese with I've got these really good tomatoes, and the little they're called Persian cucumbers here, little cucumbers with a couple of different kinds of olives and some balsamic over the top. Yummy. I've been having that sometimes as well. But for dinners, this is what I'm making coming up.
I'm going to
do spicy chickpeas aren't really a dinner, but I'm going to put a spicy chickpea recipe on my website because I want to use it in some other recipes. So I'm going to make some spicy chickpeas. I'm going to do chicken shawarma. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right.
Right.
Like a gyro thing. So you marinate some chicken thighs, you grill them, slice them up, and then you put them into pita bread. And I'm going to make some homemade pita bread with lettuce, tomato, onion, and then a yogurt sauce.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
And then fattoush. Have you ever heard of fattoush? It's a salad.
No.
It's a Middle Eastern salad. and it's got
Oh, I have, yeah,
with the
but
tomatoes and
yeah,
cucumber, and then it's got a lot of herbs because the mint in my garden is just
you're going
absolutely
wild.
berserk. So I was thinking, there's just too much. But you have to have too many cocktails to put
That and
that amount of
mojitos,
mint.
and you'll get the
Right.
mojitos.
So instead, I'm making a fettuccine.
Yeah.
I'm putting chicken in it and chickpeas as well.
Uh-huh.
Salad. So I'm doing that. And what else am I doing? Making a bit of bread. I'm going to test the shrimp, the prawn lo mein recipe, the noodle recipe.
Yep.
And then I want to make a because I'm thinking about stuff I have in the fridge. I found a recipe yesterday for cabbage and carrot salad that's like a Middle Eastern inspired recipe. So I'm going to try that. And I'm going to make white chocolate and raspberry scones as well.
Oh,
and some bruschetta. And then what is so popular here is I think McDonald's. Well, no, I don't think they did. I was going to say made them popular. Maybe they did. Breakfast sandwich. But it uses pork, sausage, like pork, ground pork. Which is so fattening. I was writing a recipe yesterday. Oh, the other day I posted it, and it's delicious. It's pork meatballs. But the calories in ground pork are so high. So instead of using pork, I'm going to use either ground turkey or chicken. I haven't decided yet. I've got both in the freezer. With the same flavour profiles, like sage, lots of pepper, and then make like a little breakfast sandwich. So make it smaller, do a leaner meat, and then put tomato and lettuce on, and an egg, and some sort of sauce that's not going to be too calorific. Yeah, I'm going to test that recipe too.
Nice.
Because I like something like that on the weekend.
Yeah, that's the thing. Weekends, you want something a bit different, don't you?
Yeah. And my husband makes breakfast sandwiches, but you know, by the time I figure out the calories and I just think, no, they're good, but just, something that's homemade is just better for you. So, well, it is homemade, but he uses store-bought biscuits.
Yeah.
Cookies.
I've got my nephew's 9th birthday party on the weekend.
Right.
So we're having a barbecue out in my sister's garden. So that's going to be something for me to negotiate, like we talked about last week. I was just thinking about you saying the smaller things. I'm going to have to try and choose wisely and just go for the one plate of food. And I was thinking about that from our conversation last week. But you were talking about swapping out the pork for the chicken. I'll probably try and make some of those choices with some of the meats that I'll choose from the barbecue.
Yeah, just making sensible choices. So, yeah. So next week, Sarah and I are talking about mind power and how to attract better. You have to become better. So that should be a good one.
It is.
I like that.
I'm a firm believer in this.
The law of attraction.
Yeah, I am.
I know some people don't. They think it's hoo-ha. But I don't think it is.
I'm a firm believer in it.
Yeah. Put it out there. Mm-hmm. So people that always grumble about everything that's wrong in their life. And I think, well, the more you grumble about it, the worse it's going to be.
Not always that easy though, is it, I suppose? But
no, it's not. But anyway. As always, thank you so much for listening. We hope that you have found this episode helpful. We're on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. So head to our website, lovoniandsarah.com. All our social media links are on there. Subscribe to us if you wouldn't mind, or give us a follow. We'd appreciate that very, 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 very much.
We would.
That very much. Before we sign off, we want to remind you that the choice to get healthier, lose weight and change is in your hands. So choose wisely. Get some good sleep. And we'll chat to you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.